Hello, and welcome back once again to Miedo Gaming, where we are playing Raid Shadow Legends. So today I just want to go through a couple of the events, the ongoing events, upcoming event, kind of discuss my plan or maybe even lack of plan for those events and kind of my interest level for those events just based upon my current standing in the game, um, how beneficial I believe the rewards will be, and whether or not it's just worth it to me overall. So, first we have the Sweethearts Path event for Naldua and Solinar's Soul, as well as fragments for the Naldua Fusion. Now, I was lucky enough to have won the champion training event and also to have come into second during champion chase. So I kind of looked out there, and I'm really close to finishing Naldua. Um, and there's two events coming up right now where I can get those final 10 shards, including Classic Arena, which I'm almost done with, and I still got 2 days left, but I'm almost done with it. I should be knocking off probably not this evening. I'm gonna go relax, go do some other things, and then I'll probably knock this out tomorrow. So that we have that going on, and then in addition, there's this Garrett enhancement event, which will also have 5 shards in it. And so from those two events, I will have the 100 Naldua shards that I need. And so thankfully, I don't have a need to go through here and grab any of these shards. So that does leave me in a situation where I could skip the shards and instead go for some of the other rewards. But I just don't know if it's worth it for me and for my account. Again, there's a few caveats for this account, as anyone who's been watching my videos would know. It's a I am not anywhere near sort of an end game or late game player. I'm still pretty new, and I am a spender, but I am looking for sort of a balance in spending. I went pretty hard chasing champs, and I feel like I have a pretty good roster now at this point, from a champ standpoint. Right, I'm still missing gear and some certainly souls and things of that nature. So with that said, souls are actually good. Um, but I do want to start thinking more about what I'm going after instead of just chasing after everything and just like, okay, well, if I need resources, I'll just buy the resources to get it. Okay, I need sacred shards for this. I'll just pull all my sacred shards and buy some more. I don't want to get into a habit of doing that. I was making my purchases up front just to kind of build out my roster quickly and then have a good head start in the game to kind of just have fun with it at that point. I feel like I'm, at least from a roster perspective, I feel like I'm kind of getting to that point now. Yeah, there's always gonna be new champs to chase, and yeah, there's going to be events where I'm going to spend money and go after things. If there's a 2x primal event, I'm absolutely going to spend a few hundred on primal shards and hope for mythical. Yeah, sure, I'm going to jump into those types of events, but just for something like this, I don't want to put myself in a situation where I'm like, yeah, I'm going to buy Sacred just to go after a soul. I don't know if that's really necessarily worth it for me, right? I don't know that Naldua is going to be an account changer from the perspective that she would be worth it and would suddenly elevate my account to a new place. I mean, and she's in a faction, Dark Elves, that I'm in a decent place with right now. Quite a few great champs in that faction. Then I'm going to be adding Naldua to it here shortly, and I'll also be adding Visix to it, I think next week. And so, and Lydia, hopefully, within the next few weeks here. And so, I feel like, Naldua is not going to suddenly take my account to a whole new level if I get this soul for her. And so, I'm really kind of iffy on this overall. I don't think I'm going to go for it, but there is sort of one caveat to that. I have been making really small progress, but progress nonetheless. And if I find myself getting to a point just from doing events, and I believe there's a champ training tournament coming up at some point. I don't recall what day that starts, But assuming this event is still ongoing, I'm going to be utilizing that champ training tournament just to strengthen my account. There's some champs I want to build up. So I'm going to be, and I want to be able to book them and all of that. Normally I wait for fusions. Um, in this case, it's just Basim Soul. So speaking about souls again, Basim Souls is up for it. So I'll at least take part to a minimum perspective. I'll see how competitive it is. I'll probably back away. I'm not I'm not going to push to win. Um, but I will at least take part from a minimal perspective just to see how competitive my shard will be or the grouping that I'll be in. See how competitive it'll be, and also to just get some rewards and take the opportunity to train up some of my champs. I think this is just kind of one of those perfect opportunities. Which is how I unlocked Basim in the first place. There was a pulling soulstone pulling event for Basim Deca Fates, and I had a ton of souls that I've been wanting to pull. So, similar to this, to the actual champ himself, the soul is up for grabs from a similar perspective, right? There's an event that I actually want to take part in because I have champs I want to train. So I might as well do some minimum investment just to kind of see, is there a possibility of getting this soul? If not, that's fine. There are other rewards that I can get out of the tournament and at least train up the champs that I've been wanting to train up anyways. But during that event, I'll see how much sort of dungeon divers or gear chasers or whatever it's called. See how many points I get from something like that. If I find myself pushing out far enough, like if I'm somewhere hovering around this area, I might, in that case, be enticed just to kind of go all the way for the soul. Um, I did just mention I'm not looking to spend a ton of money, but I did see that they have, I'm in the wrong place. They have this up for grabs, and you can buy 2 of them. So for $60, you get 40,000 points, and that's, I don't know if that's decent value. I'm not sure if anything in Raiden is decent value, to be honest with you, but I look at that and that's kind of, 40,000 points. If I'm at that point in the event, 40,000 points will put me really close, right? I'll probably be another 20K off or something. And at that point where it's just a few shards, I might actually pull for it in that case, right? If it's just a few shards. But there's no way I'm gonna pull, 15 or 16 or however many shards I need to pull from the beginning to get her soul. I don't know if I don't think it's account changing. If it was a champ, I might do it. This this frame looks kind of cool, to be honest with you. So if I if I did go for the soul, if I get this far just from like dungeon divers or whatever, and you know I see an opportunity and I do go for this, I'll probably grab the frame as well. But just given the fact that it's probably like a 20% chance I find myself in that situation where I'm like, yeah, I'm going for the soul because I'm close enough to just drop the $60 or 40,000 points and then just pull a few sacred shards instead of pulling 15, just anywhere from 3 to 5. Maybe I would do that. If I do find myself at that point, maybe I'll pull one additional sacred and kind of get this frame. The frame seems really cool. I do like it. It's not obviously the frame is about just as much of a game changer to my account as the soul might be. So in either case, not that huge. Um, but if I do find myself in that situation, I think that's sort of where I might pull the trigger. I'll drop the $60. I'll drop a few sacred shards. I'll grab the soul. I'll grab the frame, and I'll move on in life. So we'll kind of see how that goes, especially once they show the Basim event. Here's the champion training event that they have going on here. I could actually continue taking advantage of this. How much time do I have? 7 hours. Yeah, it's evening here right now. I don't feel like playing raid. But it's probably not going to continue this. But I am looking at this. I'm like, man, I didn't finish this out. Um, to be honest, this is on me. I thought I did finish it out, and so I wasn't really pushing so hard. I actually have a ton of energy right now too. Not a ton, but decent amount. It's like 600 or something. Um, So I could have been pushing for this instead of whatever it was I was doing, lollygagging and meandering around. But regardless, that is a small possibility. I will go for that event. I just don't think it's going to happen. So I don't think I'm going to have the soul for Naldua. I think I'll just have the champ. There's a small chance. I'm not going to say no. I'm definitely not doing it. There's a small chance that I'm getting enough points just from energy spend that I decided to go all out for it. But I just don't really see that happening. From there, some of the other events, I just brought up Basim Soul. I'm as mentioned, I'm going to take a relaxed approach with that. I'll start doing some champ training just to get some of the rewards and things and train up some of the champs that I want to train up. And then kind of just seeing how it's going. Maybe I push for the soul. Maybe I don't just drop out of the selection process. Let somebody else get it. I don't really think Basim's gonna be that. Every champ when you're still new like I am, every champ is important, right? Every legendary champ in particular is important. Um, so he'll definitely have some utility on my account. I'll definitely be using him, but I don't think he's gonna suddenly improve my account to some insane level that I otherwise would not be at without him. So I'm not too crazy about the soul. Similarly with Naldua, I'm actually more excited for Naldua than I am for Basim, and I'm not really pushing too hard for her soul either. So definitely probably not going to push for Basim. I feel it's more important just to get the champ. After you get the champ, you have a shot at getting the soul at some point. It might pop up in the shop, or you might pull it from the soul stone or something. So I'm less enthused about chasing souls if they're too expensive. Additionally, as you can see, I will have a few different champs to pull next time we get to it, champ chase event. So I'm going to save all of them for that. I don't need any of them, including Naldua. I don't need any of them immediately for anything. There's no pressing issues that I'm currently facing in their factions, or that they would solve outside of factions. And so I'm just gonna let them hang out in there for a little bit in the portal. There are actually going back to the portal again. There are additional events, so there's these progressive chances. I selected a few. I don't have any of these champs, honestly. All of these champs would be huge, and they're all not all of them, but there's quite a few of them in factions that I could use help in. Um, so Ogryn Tribe I could use help. This is Knight's Revenant, right? I'm pretty sure she's in Knight's Revenant. Uh, this is this Undead? I believe he's an Undead, and this is Demon Spawn. So all four of them, those are chimps that three of them at least are well, all these people might be pretty good champs. Less certain about these two on the right, but I know these four I could definitely use. But she is in a faction that I can use to help in, so I was kind of thinking about it from that perspective. Um, Pretty much can't go wrong if I was to win any of these. I think the big prize here is of course, Solinar. Although again, I could use any of these, except maybe I mean I could use Cardio too, but he's in a Sacred Order. I think he is. I don't need as much help there as maybe Undead. Um, I can't even think of the the factions right now. But are they both? No, they're not both undead. Um, Undead and Knights Revenant. I have the hardest time with those two factions. Same with Ogryn tribe and orcs. I don't know why, but a lot of times I'm calling orcs Ogryns and Ogryns orcs, and then a lot of times with the undead and the Knights Revenant, like I just combine the two together. Like I know there's two factions that are separate, but in my head they're like the same faction, and so I have a hard time remembering. Like sometimes I'll remember Knights Revenant and I won't remember Undead, and other times I'll remember Undead and I won't remember uh, Knights Revenant, but I will remember that there is supposed to be two, but in my head they're the same faction. So hopefully I'll get that fixed at some point. I'm sure I'll memorize both of those factions pretty well. But you kind of see how I mixed it up a bit. Try to have all three as possibilities if I decide to go for them. I haven't pulled any of these shards yet. And to be honest, I don't think I will. But just in case I do end up in a situation where it's worth it to pull, I just kind of set it up ahead of time. And I don't know which one I would actually pull. But I don't have many void shards. I went for the 2x when we had the void 2x. Super excited, super happy that I did, and I got Cecilia. And to be honest, between Cecilia and Solinar, I would have wanted Cecilia anyways. So I feel like that turned out really well for me. Also, I only have 4 left now, and what are the odds that in those 4 I'm gonna get Solinar? You know, it's extremely unlikely. Could always go and buy some more voids. One thing I do try to do when I'm buying shards, I always try to get the purchases that will give me the most. So this is like I think the last thing I bought was the Null Duo calendar. Oh, that might not be the last thing, but still got a couple days left there, 2 days. But I do try, so like this for instance, this might be okay because it's got the 20 in here. But if it was just 4, I wouldn't get this. I would want the 5 because there's a 5 for 100. Similarly, you know, when we're discussing voids, can you even get, oh, so right now this is 35. There's one that you get 40. And so a lot of times when I see something like this, I'm like, I might not go for it unless it's an event that's I absolutely want to go for the event and the 40 is not available, but I need to go for this event. It's about to close any minute now. Then maybe I'll grab the 35. But for the most part, if I'm going to make a purchase, I do try to find the most. I think for this, it's fine. I think, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe 20 is the most you get of primal shards for $100. There might be maybe a better deal, but I don't recall there being a better deal. So this one I'm actually fine with. But the 35, I feel like no, you get 40 for 100, and so I kind of wait for that to come around. Like this is fine. Could always use energy, and I believe 20 is the most that you get for that much. Whether or not it's worth it, I don't know. I've kind of went for it a couple times just for books for champs, but in all honesty, again, none of the purchases in this game are really worth it. But here's another one where it's kind of interesting, right? Because sometimes they'll sell you 4 for 100, and that on its own isn't worth it. Now, to be fair, they'll also have silver and a couple other things with it, I think, when they sell it. But 4 on its own, I usually say no because there's a 5-pack. But in this case, it's 4 here, 16 here, 8 here, all combined. So that one might be that might be worth it, just because you get the additional shards and ancient and voids. But I do try to make sure I'm getting the best bang for the buck when I make the purchase. So if I was to pull for Solinar, it would just be the 4. So with that said, it's extremely unlikely that I'm going to take part in this event, even though there's a ton of champs that I could really use. Could really use them. And if you saw my video where I'm looking at my most wanted champs across each of the factions, actually both of these two, Rhodos was my most wanted champion undead. The White Queen here, whatever she's called, she was my runner-up in Knights Revenant, where I wanted, I cannot think of her name. I think it starts with a V. I can't think of her name off the top of my head. Benalicia. I wanted Benalicia a bit more than Ancora, but she was sort of my runner-up. I could use a lot of help in this faction. It's interesting that I kind of want the Reviver so much when I have Rector Drath, who's fine. Right? Like he's holding it down as a Reviver. Really, what I honestly need here is I need more like damage and really just a big, huge damage dealer. Honestly, that's what I need here. But I like these 2 champs. I do want one of those 2 champs. I also have Queen of Hearts, who's pretty good as well. But regardless, I don't think I'm going to be taking part in a lot of these events this upcoming weekend, outside of just finishing up the Naldua event and pretty much and not using the Sweetheart's Path to do so. Right, I'm gonna finish up this classic arena takedown. There shouldn't be too many more fights. I don't know how many points I'm getting per fight, but I think I'm getting 13. Okay, I think I'm getting 13, so there shouldn't be too many more fights. Five more fights or something like that, and I'll have those 5 shards. And then I'm really excited for this gear enhancement. I constantly have gear I need to enhance. So, and similar to like not wanting to train champions unless there's a champ training event going on, which I'm so upset that I missed this event, or I thought I had already maxed it out, and so I didn't want to waste more energy chasing after something that just didn't exist or that I was done with. Um, but because of that, I just have a ton of gear I need to enhance that I'm just not doing right now. And I managed to increase my silver quite a bit. I just went through I have terrible gear. I'm just, for the record. I went through here and I just literally sold everything that didn't have speed. So I have much less stuff now. Still got a ton in here. It's still too much on it, man. I have so much relentless. Um, which I do enjoy relentless quite a bit, so that's fine. But I went through and I thought I cleaned it up. It still looks like I have way more in there than I thought I did. But regardless, I think all that gear now has speed on it. Um, so I'm pretty excited just about the amount of silver I have right now. And I don't plan on wasting it. I'm gonna try not to waste it anyways. So still gonna use it during events, gear enhancement events. But outside of those two things, the gear enhancement and the classic arena, just to finish off Naldua, the rest of these events this weekend, I don't see the value in it for what I'm spending, right? Just for the number of shards I have to pull for this soul, I don't see the value. I don't see the value in going too hard for Basim. Like if I have to go all out in the champ training and I find myself without enough energy refreshes and things for the next fusion, like I don't feel like that's worth it, right? We have the March Madness coming up soon, so we'll have the anniversary champ and anniversary fusion, and I'd much rather make sure that I have the energy to do champ training and also have the champs available that need to be trained. I'd much rather have everything in my books and everything available for then. You never know what some of the winner takes all may be in that case, right? If there's more shards available, or if there's a soul for the March fusion, which will be an anniversary fusion, probably from the new faction. It'll probably be a major event. If I have a chance at winning that because I didn't spend all my resources now, I think that would be better. Um, so I'm keeping all that in mind, and it's just a very big unlikely. All right, I don't want to say a very big no, but a very big unlikely that I'll be taking part in a lot of these events. If I do, I did set everything up just an off chance that I do start pulling shards. Got it set up with who I want. Um, I don't know which shards I'll pull, so I picked which 3 I wanted, and I evenly split them up where they're all available in 2 of the different ones, and then void shards just focused on Solinar. Um, I could really use Sifi too, honestly. I could use Sifi. I need Sifi more than I need Solinar, just for the fact that my faction is so awful. Um, well, I take that back. Undead is not all that bad. It's not all that good, but it's not as in dire straits as like my Ogryn or my Knights Revenant. Knights Revenant is pitiful on my account. I think that's the only faction where I'm just like, yeah, that faction is done on my account. I'm pretty happy with the champs that I have in most of my factions. I feel like I met my goal of getting a head start, and I'm not going to count Argonite. So 13 out of the 15, even Ogryn Tribe, I'll say 14 out of 15. I have a lot of fun with Ogryn Tribe. They're not good enough to get past the boss right now. I have a lot of fun with them. And now I'm going to build up a couple epics too that I'm currently working on to kind of get over that hump. But they are fun to use. Knights Revenant, I'm not even having fun with Knights Revenant. It's the one the one faction crypt I'm not having fun with. The only one that I just hate. Oh, Lizardmen, I'm not having fun with Lizardmen crypt either. I have a ton of champs in Lizardmen. It's just not fun because it's just a ton of healers. Well, I got Predator and Teox now, so that helps a lot. But still, there's just so many nightmares from working my way through Lizardmen, like 20, 30 minutes on each stage, as out healing the opponent nonstop. But regardless, that's my plan, or the lack of the plan, for the events this weekend. For those who are taking part in the event, best of luck on getting the champs that you're looking for. Best of luck on getting the soul for Naldua or Solinar, whichever one you're going for, or both. And best of luck with the Basim soul event as well. But that's it for now. I'm excited to get on to the next video and share some more content with you. Take care.